What if I told you the $40 car battery charger sitting 3 feet from the name brand on the shelf came off the exact same production line? Same board, same charging chip, different sticker, half the price. The big battery charger brands spend more on packaging, shelf space, and Amazon ad bids than most of them spend on the electronics actually inside the box. The 7 brands on this list are proof of it. By the time we get to the end of this countdown, you'll know exactly which cheap charger is quietly running the same 8-stage charging profile C-Tech and Noco charge $300 for, including the number 2 brand, built by an engineering team that used to supply parts for a name you'd recognize instantly. And stick around for number 1, because it's the only budget charger on this entire list that actually reads your battery's internal resistance before it sends a single amp, a feature normally locked behind a premium price tag. Before we get into it, subscribing means you'll see these budget versus premium breakdowns as we publish them. Useful if you'd rather know what's inside the box than trust the label. 7 cheap 12-volt car battery charger brands everyone ignores, ranked from solid to absolute goldmine. Number 7. Foxsur, the bare-bones unit that does the one job right. Foxsur doesn't spend on branding. The box art looks like it was designed in 2011, and that's exactly why it gets ignored on the shelf. But strip away the packaging, and you get a charger with real reverse polarity and spark protection, AGM and standard flooded lead-acid modes, and a charging curve that actually tapers instead of just dumping amps until the battery cooks. That's the real difference between an old-school trickle charger, which just keeps pushing current until you physically unplug it, and an actual battery maintainer, which backs off on its own. Foxsur is built like the second one. Testing this thing against a charger 4 times the price shows the same resting voltage after a full cycle. What buried Foxsur wasn't the electronics, it was zero marketing budget in a market where paid placement beats a plain box every time. It's probably the charger sitting unopened in your garage right now because you assumed the plain box meant a plain product. Number 6. Nexpow W, the one that doesn't give up on a dead battery. Most chargers, even some premium ones, refuse to touch a battery that's dropped below around 10.5 volts. The safety logic just locks out and shows an error. Nexpow W builds in a forced charge mode that can wake a battery back up from as low as 1 volt, which is the difference between saving a battery that's been sitting dead in a driveway all winter and telling the owner to buy a new one. It also runs both sides of the chemistry divide. Standard AGM, GL, and SLA lead-acid on one end, LiFePO4 lithium on the other, plus a dedicated 6V AGM mode most single-voltage chargers skip entirely. That's a charger built for the exact situation where a cheap charger usually fails you, buried in a listing that reads like every other budget charger on the page. Number 5. BMK, the one built for people who don't trust a single-mode charger. BMK's units carry a lithium mode most budget chargers skip entirely, alongside AGM, gel, and standard lead-acid. 4 chemistry profiles in a housing that cost less than a single premium maintainer. The reason that matters is simple. Charge the wrong chemistry on the wrong profile and you shorten the battery's life every single time you plug in. BMK got the profiles right and still gets buried under sponsored listings from brands charging double for the same 4 modes. That's the charger equivalent of a mechanic who does the job right but doesn't own a sign out front. Number 4. Topdon, the one shop techs would recognize even if you don't. Topdon runs a 9-step smart charging sequence across a genuinely wide 5 to 90 amp range, which already puts it ahead of most single-curve budget units. But the feature that actually matters is supply mode, a stable, regulated DC output originally built so technicians could keep voltage steady while reprogramming a vehicle's ECU, because a voltage dip mid-flash can corrupt the software and brick the module. That's a feature normally justified by a shop equipment price tag, sitting quietly inside a charger that also handles reverse polarity, short circuit, overheating, and overvoltage protection. Most people buying it will never use supply mode, but the fact that it's in there at all tells you what kind of electronics are actually on that board. Number 3, and this is where the pattern really shows up, Gooloo. If you're noticing that the cheapest options on this list keep out featuring the expensive ones, that's worth a like on this video. It's how it reaches other people asking the same questions. If you haven't subscribed, this is the kind of comparison we run every week. Gooloo's charger line runs a microprocessor-controlled charging cycle that automatically detects battery voltage and temperature and adjusts current in real time, what's called temperature compensation. The exact same core function premium brands charge $100 extra to advertise on the box. Number 2. Ampeak. This is the one with the real pedigree. Ampeak's charging boards are built by a supplier that has manufactured components for charger lines sold under far more expensive nameplates. The silicon inside doesn't know what logo is stamped on the plastic around it. Ampeak runs the same multi-stage charge sequence: analyze, soft start, bulk charge, absorption, and maintenance float that C-Tech built its reputation on, and that other $300 chargers market as their headline feature. What buried Ampeak is exactly what buried everything else on this list. No celebrity-adjacent marketing, no booth at the trade show, just a charger that works and a listing that gets outspent by brands selling the same internals for more. It's probably 3 clicks away in your Amazon cart right now. Number 1. Occfa, the only charger on this list that reads your battery before it commits to a charge rate. Most chargers, cheap or expensive, start dumping current based on a preset assumption about what's on the other end of the clamps. Occfa's unit runs an internal resistance check first, which matters because a battery's cold cranking amps, the number that tells you how much starting power it's got left in the cold, drops as the battery ages, and pushing full current into a weakened battery is how you shorten its life further. That resistance check is normally the headline spec on chargers from names like Battery Tender selling for 2 to 3 times the price. Occfa buried that capability inside a plain product description nobody reads past the first line, on a listing competing against brands that spent the marketing budget Occfa spent on the internals instead. If you made it this far, here's the takeaway that'll save you money the next time your battery light comes on. The price tag on a car battery charger tracks the marketing budget a lot more closely than it tracks what's actually inside the box. If this changed how you'll shop for a charger, the like button is a fair signal to leave. And if you want to weigh in, tell me in the comments which one surprised you most: Ampeak, Occfa, Gooloo, or one of the 2 new ads, Nexpow and Topdon. If you haven't subscribed, these budget versus premium breakdowns run weekly. Sometimes the best piece of gear in your garage isn't the one with the biggest logo on the box. Sometimes it's the plain one you almost didn't buy.